Hello everyone, meteorologist Ted Keller. It's a Thursday evening and it's time for a heads up weather. This is something I put out for the Ozarks. If there's really any kind of hazardous, threatening, severe weather, either winter or spring, this one is definitely winter. So this is valid for this upcoming weekend. The very beginnings of this will probably be late on Saturday evening. This will go through Sunday and backlash even into the early hours of Monday morning. So let's dive right into it. First of all, this is the satellite loop. We're looking at the basically eastern portion of the Pacific Ocean. You can see I marked Washington, Oregon, and California on here for reference. And the storm that's going to cause us our winter woes is certainly this one right here as it's surging ashore. It's got a little occlusion right here. And what's left of this storm will actually travel like this and then into the central United States. So it's still a couple of days out. And that's very typical. And now, when these storms start coming ashore, we start to get a little bit better resolution on what they're going to do. And I generally feel at this point, when you're on Thursday evening and talking about a Saturday evening event, you can maybe start talking a little more reasonably about it. Although there is still some divergence in the two models I'm going to show you and what their solutions are going to be for this storm. Let's start with the GFS, and we'll start with precipitation type, and this is 6 p.m. Saturday. And what you'll notice by Saturday is that light precipitation starts to overtake portions of Missouri here. And the color coding on this is that the green is precipitation, is rain, and then this kind of purplish orange color is freezing rain. And then this is sleet, and then the blue here is snow. So what this is basically doing is we have a good southerly flow developing, and this is riding over cold air. And so there's warm air aloft, cold air below. So that is going to cause this layer of freezing precipitation to the north, mostly of Springfield. It's still a little early out to say that Springfield is completely out of it in terms of getting any ice, although I think my gut feeling is that most of this hazardous weather is going to be in the northern half of the Ozarks, so from Springfield north and certainly all the way north into Missouri. Anyway, let's keep going. This is Sunday AM. You can see that, again, this is all liquid here, although it's cold rain, not exactly enjoyable. But here's that layer of ice again with that orange color, and then the purple indicating some sleet, and then this blue area here indicating some snow. GFS model on 6 p.m. Sunday evening now has that backlash of snow into the Ozarks as the low pressure center right here begins to slip off to the east, and we get strong northerly winds. This is the NAM model. This is for 6 p.m. Saturday, so same time steps, different model now. The NAM is the North American model. It's a shorter range model, has a little more resolution, but it's showing basically the same output. And as at this point, still a lot of the Ozarks, from Springfield southward, still in the green there, so it's indicating liquid precipitation with that icier stuff up to our north. This is 6 a.m. on Sunday. This low is really ramping up around Tulsa. Very strong south to southeast wind flow should keep us mild enough for a lot of the precipitation here to be again in a liquid form, but it doesn't take much for this line right here to shift a little bit north or south. There's still plenty of time for that to happen. So definitely an eye out for areas, let's say even in just a half hour north of Springfield or more for icy conditions. And snow, of course, wrapping up to the north along the so-called warm part of the storm, and then wrapping in behind it as well. And then we can go on to the next slide. This is 6 p.m. Sunday, and already this low has traveled over to around Cape Girardeau, and we have some backlash snows coming in by 6 p.m. Sunday, and pretty windy too. We're looking at sustained winds 20-25 miles per hour most likely. So those are the two models and how they're handling precipitation type. Now if I let the NAM total the snow at a 10-to-1 ratio, it puts down a track something like this. Okay, the snow that you see here in the northern and northeastern parts from Springfield is most likely going to form and blow in on the backside of this. So that's Sunday evening, early Monday. And then NAM total ice is actually adding up to almost 1/3 of an inch of ice, let's say around Warsaw, just north of Nevada. So that's somewhat concerning. Again, take that with a grain of salt. I think the positioning and the amounts are still subject to slight adjustments here. Maybe 50 miles either side of that is something you should probably get used to. If you followed weather, you know that that's going to be true. The closer we get to the event, the more detail and resolution we're going to have. The winter storm watch, as I speculated earlier, has been hoisted now, not including Springfield, not even including Bolivar and Lebanon, but Warsaw, not quite to Nevada, but central and northern Missouri certainly under that winter storm watch that begins on Saturday night and goes through Sunday and into Sunday evening. And then finally, one more thing we'll look at on Heads Up tonight is the GFS idea of what we will be down to Wednesday morning. It has us at a low of 10. I really don't see, there might be some sub-zero readings closer to Springfield if we can lay down ice and snow closer to Springfield. And a lot of these lows you're seeing to the north of us, -10 in Kansas City, -12 in Columbia. These areas here are greatly dependent on where that snowpack lies, because that will completely dictate where things, the radiational cooling created by a ice or snowpack is pretty tremendous. So it's not just that a high is settling in, but we're having frozen stuff on the ground, and that will greatly help out the temperature plunge, especially on Wednesday morning. That's our update on Heads Up weather for tonight. Probably issue another one maybe on Friday, certainly sometime between now and when this starts Saturday evening. Have a good night.